It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist T.J. McCormick.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's T.J. McCormick.
Morning, gang. Hello there, family. 2:07 here on 77 WABC. It's Another Side of Midnight. I'm TJ, and you are here with me. And 1-800-848-9222. Boom. Doors are wide open. We've all been staring at this news. We've all been absorbed. We've all been sort of watching it. Look, the news has been coming at us. I could never, ever, ever express condolences for someone and precede it with any reference to their politics or how much I agree with them or don't agree with them. I could never, ever, ever express my thoughts and prayers on their passing and have the word but come in the middle of it and then go down the slope of criticizing them. I am pretty damn sure that I have never, ever, ever done that. I am not wired like that. I couldn't do it, and I saw it. How many times have you seen it for the last couple of days on social media? And we're just talking about the well-intentioned people. The doltish, idiot, moronic, tragic, stupid people out there. The people who fancy themselves to be thinking, kind people. Who I didn't agree with one word he ever said. Don't get me wrong. Not that I like the guy, but he looked like a great dad. I'm sure he loved his kids, but there is no but. There is no, of course you must understand it just so I didn't mean, there's not a I don't, but no. A guy died, a guy was murdered, and I God almighty, I hear myself talking it. I'm like, already beating a dead horse. I'm already beating a dead horse. But what the hell else is there to cover here? I just can't. It's just unthinkable to express sadness or, faux grief or understanding or commiseration or empathy or sympathy and then qualify it. You either do or you don't. Be brave. Be like, at least have the decency to be as brave as Charlie Kirk. And just, so I don't know, by the way, I don't know, as I hear myself say that, do I need to give credit to the people who express their hatred for him? Is there more honor in expressing hatred and loathing for a man and his views and his way of life and his convictions and his values? Is there more honor in all of those people that I spent the last 3 days like building up a steam of hate for. It took me all this time and all these notes to actually have that moment of clarity. If it was a moment of clarity. I've been walking around shaking my head and shaking my fist and intellectually pointing a finger at Twitter, at X, whatever the hell it is, at TV, and condemning people for hating him. Meanwhile, the hate rolled right off his shoulders like water off a duck. And I don't know. Maybe I need to do an about face and accept the haters for the hate and be more angry at the people who don't have the nerve to just say exactly what they feel rather than shroud it in faux empathy and sympathy and fake disingenuous regards for Charlie Kirk. 1-800-848-9222. It was really something else. And and here's the thing too. You know, a few things just to sort of go down a slight list. Before it happened, I was doing some commentary on TV on Wednesday, the day it happened. And it's very interesting. If anybody's over there on X and you go back a day or two, go back to Wednesday on my X feed at TJ McCormick, and you'll see there's a video there that James Woods, the actor, the very angry conservative actor, James Woods shared a video, and it was, as he put it, the best 4 minutes that you'll see all day. And the video was 4 minutes of acts of kindness at baseball games where people caught a ball and gave it to someone else. And not always adults to kids. Sometimes it was adult to adult. Sometimes it was little kid to little kid. And it was in fact the greatest 4 minutes you were, especially this Wednesday. Especially this past Wednesday, it was indeed going to be the best 4 minutes you were going to see all day. And sitting there in the green room of this network, I saw that video, and right away my instinct was, I put it out, I reposted it, and I said, we're going to talk about this on Saturday morning. And then like 45 minutes later, as we went to commercial, one of the anchors said to each other and to me, I think Charlie Kirk was shot. I don't know. And we were rolling into commercial. So everybody spent the whole commercial. And look at that. Instead of being able to come in here and talk about that. Now we will at some point, God willing, get to that this weekend. But because I still have the note on my original piece of paper that I usually start writing down the concepts and concepts like this is a high end, like this is a highly intellectual endeavor that I pull off in real time with you, gang. But yes, my concepts. But it's the first note. Discuss kindness. And okay, so no, I don't pretend that that's profound. I don't pretend it's profound. I'm just saying, son of a gun, look what I wanted to talk about. I'm not making a big biblical thing out of that. But so here's some of the stuff, man. Yeah, loads of hate. Lots of love. I don't know why. I guess because I'm self-righteous and I want to be important. I focus on the hate. The that was expressed towards him because I want to defend him and I want to be angry at the hate. All right. Maybe I should focus on the love, for him that was expressed. I'm dying to hear what you're thinking, and the calls are coming in, and I'm grateful for that. And I'm sure this is going to be one of those shows that is going to be driven by, more than usual, going to really be driven by, if not guided by, you lot, by the extended family out there around the table. Because you all have your own minds and your own hearts, and you have people that surround you, and you have the people that come and go in your life. My daughter, my oldest daughter, my 16-year-old, Millie started she for a year and now going into her second year of being president of her own high school's chapter. She started a high school's chapter of Turning Point USA. It's called something slightly different at the high school level, but she is the president for the second year of this club that she started, hand in hand with Turning Point. And she's been okay. Tonight, Erica Kirk, that address that she made, somehow standing, somehow breathing and talking, and one foot in front of the other. That got to Millie. That got to me too. It's a strong woman. Wow. And the fact, I don't know what it is that's going to make this one live forever. Was it what was seemingly the pure good in this guy? Was it, as my buddy John Tantillo, and a friend of the show, and I need to reach out to John because I want to have him on tomorrow night. John Tantillo, here it is, right here. John Tantillo, the marketing doctor, definitely a friend of this show. You've heard him before. We're going to get him back on. John just said why he's going to live forever. And I'm going to I'll tell you, he put it perfectly. Here it is. John said, and by combining Charlie Kirk's faith with his political ideas, he has made his message eternal. By combining Charlie's faith with his political ideas, he has made his message eternal. That's interesting. And I think probably dead accurate. But anyway, is it his message? Is it his willingness to engage? Is it his free speech? Is it his total adherence to and love for free speech? Is it the idea that he wanted to employ free speech to avoid violence? And again, the quote I think that is Charlie Kirk is, when people stop talking, that's when bad things happen. And was it also not the idea that, did you see it? I saw it. I looked. I don't know if you looked. I told Millie, I called Millie from the TV studio, and I told her, I said, I think something's cooking. They're saying Charlie Kirk was shot. I said, but there's a video. I said, but I am ordering you. And I never do that. I said, this is your dad's order to you, my love. Do not go look for this video. Do not go look for this video. There were hardened reporters and anchors and scruffy tech dudes and cameramen who were visibly shaking and on the verge of tears when the video was passed around the TV studio. So anyway, did you see it? I did. I did. And it happened so fast. I wonder how many people, probably like me, didn't even know what they were looking at. And then all of a sudden they saw it. And it is just the most awful thing you could ever see. It's because and anybody who knows, if you're in law enforcement, if you're ever in the service, or if you know somebody, I'm sure somebody has expressed to you in that capacity, if they're in your life, he was dead before he hit the ground. This poor guy. And so in that instance, if you were like me and you saw it happen before you even knew, if somebody put it in front of you and then just all of a sudden it happened and you couldn't look away, it was instant. We saw a guy die right before our eyes, let alone the people who were there present. But what has me kind of shaken, or well, all of this has me shaken, but one of the aspects of this that really has me shaken too is the takeaway. One of the big takeaways for me after Butler, Pennsylvania, a year and almost a half ago, was if Trump hadn't turned his head, if the president hadn't turned his head and that shot had done what it was intended to do, the visual of having a former president being exploded on global television, that image, that was planned and meant to be maximum impact for maximum effect in controlling the globe, controlling the people, putting down any sort of spirit amongst his supporters and anybody with any questions or thoughts about ever speaking up again. You know what I mean? And you can't help but feel that they came back again. Just like the Islamic terrorists, right? Remember, 93, they couldn't quite take down the towers. They came back again in 2001 and finished the job they started. Couldn't quite get it done. The sick deep state left couldn't get it done in Butler. And so this time they went for an even more sympathetic target. They went for a whole unique, they went to send a message to the people by taking one of the people, one of the leaders of the people, not the tippity top of the iceberg, not the king of the moment, not the elected leader, but rather the one who really grabs the hearts and minds that helped get that leader elected. The nice guy, the handsome young fellow with the beautiful wife and the gorgeous, beautiful young children. This was genius. It was thought out and paid for, I have no doubt. And I think this is ultimately, and I am airing this out. I'm airing out my brain in real time with y'all. There is some degree of notes happening here, but this was exactly, and the phrase has come up a few times in this program the last few weekends, but when you judge that book by its cover and you know what you're looking at, 9 times out of 10, we're smart. We know what we're doing. We know what we're talking about. We're right. And what we saw on Wednesday was absolutely exactly what, in our deepest crazy conspiracy theory, tinfoil hat, etc., fears or suspicions, whatever you want to call them, or convictions, or plain straight up, well, it is what it is. You saw it too. It exactly is what you thought it was. That was the result of planning and intervention and psyops and skulking and sneaking, loads of money, a lot of intel, a lot of research, and just like they did in Butler, they got to a young kid. They got the young kid up on a roof. And just like in Butler, the young kid got the shot off. But like they couldn't do in Butler, this time they actually took care of business. They did it. They got it done. But it's not going to have the effect. It hasn't had the effect. It has not had the effect that they thought it was going to have. And yeah, the people in your life, and I'm dying to talk to you guys. We're going to get over to you in a sec. All of you. 1-800-848-9222. The people in your life. I'm curious about the people in your life that have disappointed you, that have pissed you off, that have surprised you with their good or their evil. I have been blown away by people that I thought could put aside their politics or might finally see some glimmer of reality, but instead are just pathetically, tragically thick and stupid and not worth my time. I was just going to say, though, I'm not giving up on them. I don't know. 1-800-848-9222. So this guy, look, here's the thing too. Where does all of this come from? How did we get here? Several years of drip, 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 fascist, Nazi. See, and I'll close with this and we'll get to the calls. The baseline has been set for decades. What do we say about war back, World War II and, versus today? It's like, World War II, man, you could define the good guys and the bad guys. It was clear who the bad guys were. Evil on film, evil personified, evil that we could see in black and white in living, moving pictures were the Nazis. Unequivocally, unassailable. It is what it is. They were who they were. Evil. Everybody agrees. Every right-thinking, smart, intellectual person on the planet knows the Holocaust was living hell, evil. Nazis, Hitler, evil, awful, sick, vile, animals, savages. Wrong-minded and based on hate. So that baseline has been established for decades now, and it's correct. And you can only call, and in 2025, you can only call someone a Nazi, a fascist, and a threat to democracy so many times. You can only call them that so many times before it turns into justifying violence. That is their formula. They've been beating that drum. Congressmen, senators, TV hosts, journalists, comedians, actors, self-righteous singers, artists, pieces of garbage all. Beating a drum, fascist, Nazi, fascist, Nazi, fascist, Nazi. Hate, 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 hate. Turns into, gotta do what you gotta do at all costs. So there you go. All right. Going to take our bottom of the hour break, and we'll come back. We'll get to Tony and Paulie and Edgar and Lou right here. 1-800-848-9222. Thank you so much for being here. Help me work through this in my own brain, because I've been alone with this damn brain for the last 3 days. Today especially, house was empty. It was just me and a pad of paper. I'm out of my friggin' mind. Help me talk through it. Let's have a conversation about all of this stuff here on 77 WABC.
All night long. This is another side of midnight
with TJ McCormack.
77 WABC. This is another side of midnight
with TJ McCormack.
Now to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
I wish I had been a colleague of Charlie. I never did meet Charlie Kirk. I never did meet him. I've never been in the same room. Boy, I wish I had. 1-800-848-9222. Again, here we go. We're going to go over to Tony and everybody else. And I guess the whole idea here is we've been looking at the news, we've been reading the news, watching the news and listening to the news and news and news and news and news and following it. And now I just want to kind of like see, how have you been wearing it? How have you been wearing this reality? Has it been dragging you down? Has it been lifting you up and pushing you forward? Are you inspired? Are you hurt? Are you scared? Are you determined to make a difference? Are you going to pick up the torch? Are you going to pick up the pitchfork and go and from the rooftops? And the very first thing that I threw out there, these people that I've been vilifying in my own little brain for the last few days, the ones who go out there and throw all this hate at Charlie. As crazy as it sounds, is there more honor in those people throwing at hate, or intellectual honesty that is somewhat virtuous in these people who go out there and throw hate at somebody? Is there more honor or virtue in that than there is in the disingenuous politicians who give the thoughts and prayers and condolences. Although, of course, I never did agree with anything. Although we never shared the same politics, I do send, I don't know, 1-800-848-9222. How you been wearing this news and this new reality of this lousy word? And thank God I keep remembering that I'm on the radio. I have every instinct to curse constantly right now, by the way. All right, let's go over to Tony in Clifton, line 1. Tony, good morning. It's me. Hi, welcome back.
Hi, honey. Listen, I have to tell you that I was so how can I say, like, I lost the wind out of my whole body when I heard about Charlie Kirk. Yeah. And then, I realized that I wanted to just take time and listen to what they had to say about him. So I really, TJ, did not focus on what people were saying. And even now, I'm keeping it at a distance because that infuriates me.
Sure.
So what I wanted to say is that Charlie Kirk was so amazing, and he stayed focused on his mission. And, people don't realize it, but he was an evangelist. Mm-hmm. He was an ambassador for Christ, and he was a politician. We've never had someone have that, two hats. No one ever wore those two hats. Mm-hmm. And he was winning people for Christ, his Savior, and he was sort of leading people to the way of how to, be a citizen and have a life and have a family, which we don't have any of that anymore in this land. So what this has done for me is really to learn more about his way and how he did it. Mm-hmm. I will say, I want to comment on what you said about the fear, because I specifically felt like they were trying to scare us by that. It was kind of like what they did on 9/11. Yep. Very, very deliberate and intentional. But you know what, TJ? We've been manipulated for 4 years under the prior administration. Mm-hmm. Every week it was something different. Mm-hmm. And now it's heating up because now it's not just the verbal arena. Now it's chaos, but it's deadly. It's becoming more and more deadly. I think we need to get strong. I don't think we can sit here and be overwhelmed, Mm-hmm. And I really want to focus on learning more about how I can channel properly. I think we've all been a little too sitting on the sidelines when it comes to talking about our God and country.
Because we had a guy like Charlie Kirk out there doing it for us, right?
That's right.
He
did it for us.
Yeah.
He did it for us.
Yeah.
So TJ, let's just, I want to lift him up. I want to, thank God we had someone like him. Thank God for who we have now. I love our vice president who went and was with the family. And I want to tell you, we have a president now who loves God, and we have Vice President Vance, who went to Europe and told them off. You're a bunch of commies here.
Yeah.
I thank God that we are in a good place. So just pray for everybody, and it's not a time for us to be like scared. We have to encourage each other, right?
There you go. You got it. Tony, you always say it just right. Thank you for calling. Thank you so much. God bless. God bless. And boy, I tell you what, interesting thing. If Tony hadn't mentioned J.D. Vance, I would have totally forgotten what he did yesterday, going to Utah and bringing Charlie's body home on Air Force 2, because the guy never went to a microphone. The guy there's nothing self-aggrandizing about it. If you didn't see him in the shot, you wouldn't have known he was there. Wow. That's humility, huh? Maybe, I tell you what, there are some good people. Paulie in Westwood, good morning. Hello, line 2. Good morning, brother.
What's going on, bro?
Hey.
Yeah, matter of fact, he carried the casket to the plane.
Yeah. He was one of the pallbearers. Yeah.
No applause. Not in front of a microphone. That was really cool.
Yeah.
But I got 2 quick questions for you.
Yes, sir.
Do you ever get nervous of what you say on the radio? And do you look over your shoulder when you walk out of the stadium, out of the studio? Now, I'm just asking you. It's crazy that you got to ask something like this now.
This week, yes.
Yeah, right?
This week, yes.
Ain't that crazy?
Mm-hmm.
But my second question, when's the FCC going to start getting involved with the Internet?
You know what,
right?
man? I don't know if they even can at this point. How can they?
It's on the radio, but the Internet, you can do whatever you want. When's the FCC going to take control?
I don't know if they're smart enough to, buddy. Paul, I don't think they're built for it. I don't know if anybody can quote unquote get involved with the Internet other than just,
I think Trump's going to do something with that now. If anybody can do it, the FCC and Trump can do something.
Trump's going to do something because you know what, and that's thank you. I'm glad
it's getting out of control with the Internet.
Paul, yeah, I'm glad you brought up Trump because I didn't think of mentioning this, but one thing I've been saying to anybody that would listen to me this week was Trump is definitely going to be doing something. I have no idea, but he is going to this. We have seen how much Trump hates violence and how much Trump loves young people and he's loyal. Charlie Kirk is a beautiful young man with a beautiful young family who went down like a sack of potatoes due to a coward's sniper bullet. Trump has got to be furious right now. Furious and hurt. So, yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Trump. That was not on my piece of paper, and I'm glad that you did bring him up. Thank you, Paulie. And yes, to answer your pretty profound question, this week, for the first time, I was nervous. I was conscious of what I was doing getting out of the car. And I'll be conscious when I leave of my surroundings, which my wife really, really loves to hear me say. Edgar in the Bronx. Good morning. Hello. How are you?
A quick,
hi there. Hi, Edgar.
Yeah, a quick comment.
Yes.
I did not know Charlie or had never heard of him, but since this tragic incident, I've been hearing excerpts of his speeches, and just as everybody was, he's brilliant man.
Yep.
And this is the main point of my my calling.
Sure.
I foresee.
Yeah.
One of the first things that the pundits and different people that were being interviewed because he had just been murdered, they were reminding everyone that Utah is a
open carry.
Death penalty.
Sorry, death penalty.
Yeah. It was one of the states that practiced the death penalty.
Yeah.
So, and the pundit, whoever was talking, was using that line of thinking, verbalizing it as a sort of weapon of threat, so to show this is the degree of anger that we have, because of this shooting, that we will inflict. Whoever did it will be inflicted with a death penalty.
Right. So, do you think that the killer is your gut that the killer will get capital punishment or not?
I don't think so because this is why, because among other things, his family. They're the ones who have to bear the brunt of this, a major brunt of this tragedy, and compassion. I feel compassion will come out for them, because compassion. I had compassion for them because.
Sure.
And so,
but they didn't do it, and you got to punish the person who did it. You know what I'm going to do, though, Edgar? Right? I tell you what, buddy. I tell you what. And by the way, I'm really glad you called. By the way, thank you.
Yeah.
And second of all, in the next hour, we're going to be talking to a really interesting broadcasting Catholic priest by the name of Father Robert McTague, and I'm going to be asking him specifically about anger and about tolerance and intolerance, and when can we fight back and push back. And I'm going to sort of ask him something I haven't asked a priest maybe ever, but I'm going to ask about the death penalty and about the whole eye for an eye. And I'm going to have you in mind when I ask him that question. So thanks for calling, Edgar. I appreciate it. It'll be cool to get a priest's perspective on capital punishment. It's 2:47. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back to Lou and Robert and Pamela and Mike. It's Another Side of Midnight with me, TJ. I'm so grateful you're there here on 77 WABC.
It's Another Side of Midnight, 77 WABC. It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormick.
Now to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
We need more love, and maybe we need more toughness too, huh? Maybe guys like me gotta man up a little bit more. I don't know. Totally forgot, by the way, gang. Cannot believe this, that I totally forgot. My nephew, Nolan, actually met Charlie Kirk. He's listening. He's in Atlanta, working for the Atlanta Falcons. And he just sent me a picture of him and Charlie Kirk. Like, totally blew my mind. Absolutely, completely forgot. And that's pretty damn touching. And also pretty, it's amazing. It's crazy. It's beautiful. Gorgeous. He was at Penn State University, and my nephew's a big fan. 1-800-848-9222. My Nolan's a good guy. Called to check up on my daughter, his cousin. Like, I got to do that math for you people. Anyway, yeah, we got some good people in my family. Couple I could do without. Nolan, he's a keeper. All right, let's go over to take a guess. Anybody want to take a wild guess at who I could just on the heels of there's what the world needs now, and I'm ready to tell you which member of my family I'm just done with. Take a guess. 1-800-848-9222. Who is TJ done with in his family? Let's go to Lou on Long Island. Lou, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Unfortunately, I see a flurry of lawsuits from the people that have been fired from their jobs, suspended. You know, their First Amendment freedom of speech, as despicable as it is, they are protected, and they've lost their jobs over it. Which, if you are in a public company, you are, at a hire at will, the company can fire you.
Right.
But if you're, a government person and you've got certain protections, that's a slippery slope.
True. You know what? Let me give you an example. In my town, we found out that a county police officer, I can't believe I keep forgetting about my cough button. Hold on. All the time I forget about the cough button. Anyway.
Excuse me, I forgot mine too.
How dare you, Lou, make fun of me. That was a good one. Good for you. Anyway, Lou, I live in Westchester County, and it came to light that a Westchester County police officer who was assigned to an elementary school had been posting racist and racist natured tweets, or tweets or postings of a racist nature that celebrated and glorified the violence that befell Charlie Kirk. And
okay, he's a public official. He should be held to a higher standard.
There you go.
I can understand if they go after him, but a private citizen, or somebody that works for a college, a university,
I know. You know,
I disagree wholeheartedly with what they say. I think it's despicable. Yeah. I think they're inhuman.
Lou, I'm a First Amendment guy, and at the same time, you know, I mean, put it this way. I'm a First Amendment absolutist, but as an absolutist, I understand there's a marketplace, and you're free to say whatever you want, but you also have to understand, the royal we all have to understand that there could very well be ramifications to saying whatever you want to say.
Yes. Yeah, there's repercussions to your words.
Sure.
You know, unfortunately, we've seen that in the most extreme violence.
Yep.
You know, and my heart is broken. Man, I only came upon Charlie Kirk a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
You know, YouTube popped up. You know,
right.
AI sends you very random things.
Yeah.
And I just said, hey, let me check this guy out. And he was so calm and collected when he was under fire by a lot of these irrational college kids.
Yeah.
But he broke them down at every sentence, every word. He challenged them intellectually.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Yes. And you know what? And he did what my wife always tells me, because she has to every once in a while remind me, and the girls and whoever else. One of her favorite sayings is, say what you mean what you say, and don't be mean when you say it. And
that is wonderful.
Isn't that lovely? Well, that's my wife. She's gorgeous.
Yes.
She's gorgeous and kind. Way kinder than me. Thank you,
You're a very
Lou.
lucky man.
I'm a lucky dude. I am, and I'm only alive because of her. Thank you, Lou. Let's get over to Robert in Missouri. Good morning. Welcome back to the show there, Robert.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course.
I'll be real quick. Sure. Concerning Mr. Kirk, it affected me in a way I thought I would never be affected by anybody in the world.
Really?
I've always been a positive person in my life. I've raised my family to be positive and look at the good in everything that's bad they see in another person. And I try to teach them that, and I try to raise them with those type of values. But after this has happened to this man, and not only did I see the video, I've watched him on and off for years now.
Sure.
But it's affected me in a way I never thought I'd be affected.
In what way is that?
It's opened up a door in me. And in this door, when it opened, it's just black. It's something there that I've never experienced.
Was it because
and
of
I don't
actually?
Like it. I don't like it.
Robert, was the difference here because you actually saw this young man die right in front of you? That's terrible. I've seen a lot of stuff in my life. I've seen really bad things working with people that were just I don't want to describe. Sure.
That bad things have happened, the type of work I've done. But the thing is, no, that's something you don't want to see. All that thought is his children in front of him. That his wife in front of him.
Yes.
They seen this.
Yes.
They were there.
You're right, Robert.
Let's leave politics out of this.
No, sure.
Let's leave the left out of this.
Sure.
Let's leave the conservatives out of this.
Right.
Liberal, nothing. This has affected me in a way that I never thought I could be affected.
I hear you.
And I don't like it.
You know what I think it is, Robert? I think, you know what? I think it's empathy. I think you and a lot of good people out there saw the videos of him with his children in the immediate aftermath of this, within an hour or two of all of this going down on Wednesday. We all started seeing the videos of him with his kids and his daughter's running towards him. And, you know, can't shake that. We're all good people. Pamela, Mike, and Keith, and Joaquin, you're all there. Hang in there. We come back. 77 WABC.
All night long. This is Another Side of Midnight
with TJ McCormack.
77 WABC. This is Another Side of Midnight
with TJ McCormack.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
Good morning again, friends. Hello, family. It's me, TJ, here on 77 WABC. It's another side of midnight, and I'm grateful that you're there. Kind of walking our way through all this news we've been wearing like a stinky suit. A stinky suit. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. We are talking about Charlie Kirk. We are talking about America. We're talking about, how we got here and what, but not even so much about how we got here, but really about how we are walking through it. That really is kind of, I think, where we're at right now. I'm curious as to how you've been walking through it, what you've been picking up, what you've been deciding to take with you through this stroll. And it's just been brutal. I cannot, if you saw the video, and again, the thing with this particular video of the shot is that so many of us saw it before we even knew what we were looking at, and within an instant it was there it was. This guy that so many of us knew, literally leaving this earth. And then when you extrapolate that over the notion that his kids and his wife were there, It's like, wow, man, wow, what are we living through together? What are we walking through together? And I get angry at these people that express hate. And then I wonder, is there more honor in the people expressing the hate as opposed to the disingenuous people who throw their condolences followed by a but? Jerks. Oof, so many jerks, right? And I think about, I don't know. But anyway, 1-800-848-9222. In a moment, we're going to speak with Father Robert McTague, and Father is a very, very cool, interesting, straightforward guy, priest, Catholic priest, who's gonna help us navigate this notion of justified anger and pushing back. Damn it. Before we do that, we got two people been hanging on a long time. Let's get over to Pamela on line one. Pamela, good morning. Hello, welcome back. Good to hear your voice.
Oh, good morning. Yeah, I was cut off by a thunderstorm last week.
Is that what happened?
It was staticky, and I figured, I'm not getting through.
Oh, okay.
It caused some damage in some area. But as we sit here this morning, in a dark corner of an unstable youth's bedroom, he is participating in gaming programs on websites that are radicalizing our youth and turning them against conservatives. And Charlie Kirk represents any one of us, the common folk. So do you know where your children are?
Yeah, I do. I do.
Many don't.
Yeah, you're right. And many who know where they are don't know what they're doing. To your point, they're in the corner of a dark room. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Right. And the words that were written on Charlie Kirk's ammunition were words from gaming programs that use anti-fascist World War II sayings and turning our youth against them using key words. It's actually quite brilliant what the globalists are doing. This is happening everywhere.
And calling them brilliant, Pamela, you're right. And calling them brilliant is not a compliment, but it's a statement of fact.
Exactly.
These are true. And we have to remind ourselves how damn smart they are. Go ahead.
You must recognize your enemy.
Yes.
And give them credit.
Give them credit. They are smart. They are well-funded. You know what? You know I think it is? Okay, opinion. It's opinion. I'm not saying this, because of course, how the hell could I know fact? I'm just an idiot. I think this is Obama plus Soros. Obama plus Soros equals this. And not necessarily the men themselves, but those factions. The academic, intellect, cognoscenti, Illuminati, right? And the deep, deep, dark pockets of money. That, you know what I mean? We have let our guard down while we're interested. And not that, that's what freedom is all about, football games, etc. Sure.
But we're worried about who picked up a baseball on and on and on.
Yeah.
While they're creeping up on us.
Yeah. They turns out they are right next to us, if not in front of us. Pamela, thank you so much. I love seeing your name come up on the screen. We're going to get over to Father Robert in 1 second. Let's talk to Mike. You've been hanging on for like a half hour. I want to make sure I say hi to you. Good morning, Mike in Jersey.
Good morning, TJ. It's a lot packed into a little bit of time. I hope I can get it all out.
Sure.
Okay, so a few years ago, I noticed that, people that believe in God, spiritual people, they were a lot happier than me. But I'm skeptical about religion and, always thought I needed a sign. And in the last few days, it just feels like God is doing everything short of coming down here and punching me in the face.
I'm sorry. That was a genuine reaction. That was good. Okay, go ahead, Mike. That was nice. I like that. Go ahead, buddy.
And I'm still skeptical, but I'm going to go to church this weekend and maybe do a confession or something. Maybe read the first page of the Bible. But I don't know if this brings anybody comfort. So in Christianity, obviously Jesus died for our sins. I think that may have been what happened here with Charlie Kirk, and the sin that he died for was us allowing ourselves to be silenced by leftist tyranny, afraid to lose our jobs, afraid to, express our beliefs because of the consequences or just the annoyance of the argument itself. And the second that trigger was pulled and that round hit Charlie is when all of us got our voices back. If you've been on the internet the last few days, if you've watched TV, if you've listened to the radio, nobody is afraid to express their beliefs anymore on the conservative side. And if you think about it, Charlie Kirk and Jesus Christ was crucified very publicly. They're around the same age.
Yeah. Boy, Mike, tell you what, brother, you came from out of nowhere with a really profound call, dude.
You're telling me. This was not expected in my own head.
You don't even feel like it's you talking, right? You feel like you feel like God's tapping you on the shoulder, don't you?
Yeah, a little bit.
Hey,
yeah.
Listen, stay right there. I'm going to bring in Father Robert. You mind?
Sure.
Yeah, you know what? You're feeling kind of good. You're feeling kind of goddish. Yeah. Go ahead.
Before Father Robert,
he's listening. He's listening. Go ahead.
I want to put this out there for anybody that may have been touched by this phone call.
Okay.
We got our voices back.
Yeah.
But you have to be careful with it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You can speak out of anger, but you need to know your information.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be calm about the way that you use your speech.
All right. So listen, stay right there, Michael. Don't go anywhere. Father Robert McTague, here he is going to join us right now. And we've got Mike, who seemed to have a moment of clarity and a bit of an awakening and was sort of had these words pulled out of him that he wasn't quite prepared to say there, Father Robert. What do you make out of what you just heard Mike from New Jersey say?
Well, I tend to be cautious about overextending metaphors.
Okay.
I think it's grievous that Charlie Kirk died.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's monstrous because what people are telling us is they reserve the right to execute people whose speech they don't like. My guess is that the people who were dancing in the street and celebrating in social media would also tell you that capital punishment is always and everywhere wrong. And how do you square that circle? We can't kill a killer, but my goodness, if someone says words we don't like that give us bad feels, and we don't have an answer to it, then we reserve the right to pull the trigger. Now, Western civilization, sadly, has a very long and distinguished history of silencing people whose words and ideas they don't like. I mean, you can go all the way back to Socrates, and I think that's a fair comparison without making Charlie Kirk the fourth person of the Trinity.
Father, straight out of the gate, you are classic Father McTague. What an amazing entree to this damn program. Everybody, Father Robert McTague, you can find him over on the Catholic Current. And the Catholic Current is .com is a fantastic resource to see and learn a lot about what Father Robert McTague is all about. And I reached out to him because I want to talk about something that Mike just mentioned, and something that I think a lot of us are struggling with, which is anger and wanting to be angry and this notion that we're all supposed to be tolerant, and yet we're surrounded by and we're seeing terribly intolerant people. there's a lot of people that have lost their faith in the last few days, or at least have had their faith challenged. And Father, there's a lot of people that, it sounds like Mike, have like sort of had that faith rekindled. They're feeling empowered and emboldened and inspired by Charlie Kirk. So let's pick up where you just came in there, Padre. Very interesting to hear you comment about capital punishment like that.
Right. You know, there's a lot of contradictions taking place here. There are people who are absolutely shrill about gun control, right, but are also celebrating that a gun killed the man they didn't like. They talk about, well, can't we have common sense? You know, I heard a newsman say, well, it was almost certainly an assault rifle. I said, well, first of all, you probably couldn't even describe assault rifle. Right. And number two, it's a World War I bolt-action rifle.
Turns out, yeah.
It turns out, oopsie. So there is that too. No, but here's the real challenge. There are people who have decided that if you speak words or endorse ideas that they don't like or can't answer, and I think that was the real challenge for Charlie Kirk. This guy was fast on his feet. He was an Olympic class debater. And he, after a lot of the kids at the schools, bloviated their talking points that they memorized from their classes, Charlie would just disarm. He was the Aikido master. He would disarm them. Yeah. And you could see a lot of times they walked away kind of thoughtful.
Yeah.
He didn't play his part. He wasn't the Neanderthal buffoon. His professors told them that Christian white, male heterosexuals have to be. And so I think that's why some people got really upset, because Charlie was catching on. And, if you're willing to have an intelligent conversation and follow the truth wherever it leads, then you can't bully people. And when you don't have confidence in your position, bullying is the fallback position. So I think that kind of attitude was fomented into a murderous rage. And this guy, we still don't know his whole story, but he decided to pull the trigger. And I think everybody has to have an examination of conscience. Right? We either have civilization with words, or it's welcome to the jungle. And the idea that we can have civilization with words, except when I'm in a bad mood. Because I know you and I had corresponded before we went on the air.
Yes, sir.
And you said you want to talk about anger.
Yes.
And gosh, TJ, nearly everybody gets anger wrong. There are people who say, "Oh, Father, I have to go to confession because I was angry." And I said, "Is anger a sin?" St. Paul didn't say never be angry. He said be angry, but sin not. Anger is a tool. It's supposed to give us the energy to protect the weak and the vulnerable. But anger is like courage in that they're both supposed to have a worthy object. So, for example, if you run into a burning building to save a baby, you're a hero. You're brave. If you run into a burning building to save a case of Bud Light, you're a moron.
Amen. Amen.
That was even before the recent unpleasantness with Bud Light.
With Bud Light, yeah.
So likewise, with anger, we always have to ask ourselves, is it worth it? Someone didn't put enough cream in my coffee. It's really not worth getting angry over. They murdered a man in cold blood in public because they didn't like his words. That's worth getting angry. So there has to be a worthy object, and that anger is an energy that should be directing us towards good action. So feel the anger, but let that anger be guided by reason and God's moral law, and then we'll be okay. Because St. Thomas Aquinas attributed a quote to St. John Chrysostom about it can be a sin not to be angry when you should. St. John Chrysostom supposedly said this. He said, "He who is not angry where he has cause to be angry, he sins. For unreasonable patience is the hotbed of many vices. It fosters negligence and incites not only the wicked, but even the good to do wrong."
Oofa. Okay, so tell me, is that a long, pretty way of saying enabling?
No.
No? Damn it.
No.
I thought I was right. Go on.
Well, maybe I'm misunderstanding you. Maybe you're right anyway. No, if we fail to be angry when we should, then that is a kind of enabling.
Okay.
My late mother, God rest her soul, she was the Mrs. Malaprop for a generation, and instead of saying "Don't let them get away with it," she had this Zen-like phrase. She'd say, "Don't make them get away with it." And you kind of think about that for a while. Don't make them get away with it.
Yeah.
And that's what anger is supposed to do. Don't make them get away with it. Don't look the other way when the father of a young family tries to have an intelligent conversation on a college campus and gets shot dead.
Yeah.
Right? And let's not look the other way when a woman who fled war zone got butchered like an animal on public transportation. Yeah. Let's not be silent about that. Yeah. Likewise, just because the guy pulling the trigger was part of the dysfunctional preferred group, that clown in Minneapolis who murdered all those children.
Right.
There is no excuse for that. Anger allows a righteous man to put himself between the victim and the abuser and say, here's the line, you can't have them anymore.
I didn't even realize just exactly how much people needed to hear you. And until you started talking, and ever since you have started talking, Father Robert, I'm just so grateful because I know myself, I need to hear every single syllable coming out of your mouth. And I can't imagine how gratifying it is for so many, of the listeners here at 77 WABC to hear you talking so much sense. Father Robert McTeigue is, the host of the Catholic Current. And by the way, I misspoke. It's not the Catholic Current, .com. It's the CatholicCurrent.Libsyn. Will people get there?
If you go to the stationofthecross.com.
That's what it was. The stationofthecross.com.
It's there. And also we're on every podcast platform. So, iTunes or Spotify, just the Catholic Current.
Okay. The Catholic Current. Go wherever you get your podcast, gang. The Catholic Current. And we're going to get to it in a second because I really want to hear about your Reclaiming Men's Mission. I want to hear about that because there's so much ailing men of all ages, but especially clearly young men in this country.
Gosh, yes.
Oh, good Lord. You know what? I want to bring in a call here. Because this gentleman, Paul in Virginia, is a lawyer and a preacher, and he wants to weigh in on this. And so while I have, Father, Robert McTeigue on the line, let me bring in Paul. Tony, can we bring in Paul line 5? Paul, good morning.
Yes.
Welcome to the show.
Good morning. It's an honor to be on your broadcast.
Oh, honor to have you. Father Robert McTeigue is with us at the same time. So,
glad to be with you, sir.
I think the father should have been. I think he's a lawyer as well. I've heard a lot of good common sense and what we call in Virginia bay horse common sense. And I think there's a spiritual perspective here, and there is a legal perspective here, and it all works together.
Have at it. Go ahead. What are those perspectives?
Well, the spiritual perspective is that life is precious and that Charlie Hurt didn't do anything to be
murdered.
Extinguished.
Right.
Murdered. And it was first degree murder with malice, forethought, with aggravation factors, and I believe, and the father may disagree with me on this, that they always asked Jesus to solve problems. They asked priests to solve legal problems. And the man came to him and said, well, how are you going to settle this estate? He said, that's not what I'm about. Also, we have to render to Caesar's what is Caesar's and to God's what is God's. He needs to be prosecuted under the full extent of the law. But at the same time, we have to realize that life It's precious.
And Father opened up with that. Father, it was interesting. I'm sure it wasn't lost on too many people. Although the way you came out of the gate, people were probably like, "Oh, geez, I got to pay attention now. We're not warming up. We're already into. We went past the appetizers." Padre, it sounded like you have room to entertain the notion of capital punishment.
Well, it is part of natural law, and it's part of the church's tradition that some cases are just so heinous that proper retribution is satisfied only through capital punishment. And likewise, as Dr. Samuel Johnson said, nothing so focuses the attention of a man's mind as the prospect of being hanged in a fortnight. So if you know you've got 2, 3, 4 days before you go to meet your maker, that could be your come to Jesus moment whereby a soul can be saved. And there is also the question of, preventative, et cetera. Now, to say that capital punishment can be moral and licit is different from the prudential judgment. Is it suitable in this case or not? And first of all, I don't know Utah law at all. Right. And number two, there hasn't been a trial yet.
Right. Yeah.
So let's have all the evidence come out, and let's have, everybody have their say, and then let Utah law do its job. So, but right now, I think we have to come back to the spiritual issue of righteous anger. There is a place for righteous anger in the moral life, and we are blameworthy if we don't use righteous anger when the situation calls for it. This certainly calls for it. What we don't want is rage. We don't want out of control. We don't want to get all liquored up on our rage. Right. And I think part of what disturbs me about the world we live in now is that a lot of lonely, excitable people who don't know Christ and who've never really been taught to be emotionally continent are exposed to rage porn 24/7. And eventually somebody is going to boil over, as what seems to be the case with this young man.
Wow. Paul in Virginia, thanks so much for calling, buddy. I appreciate it. Peace. Padre Robert, stay right there, my buddy. We got to take a quick break here at the bottom of the hour. Roland is there. Keith and Joaquin will be right with all of y'all, and Father Robert McTague when we come back here on Another Side of Midnight on 77 WABC.
It's Another Side of Midnight, 77 WABC. It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormick.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
All right. Good morning, gang. Welcome back to the program. It's Another Side of Midnight with TJ here on 77 WABC. And we are talking about Charlie Kirk, of course. We're trying to kind of just get into what we're walking around with after Charlie Kirk, after his assassination. Gosh. And again, I mean, if you're not the type to want to see, I think Father, we're talking to Father Robert McTague. You go to the station, you go to the Station of the Cross. Doc, actually, to find the podcast that Father hosts, you go to the Catholic Current on any podcast platform, and there you will find him and his brilliance. Here you will find him this morning and his brilliance. There is something about the way this video sneaks up on you, Padre. People, it's funny. Again, I was on the set of a news network, on Wednesday when the news broke, and I was sitting literally on the set during a commercial break, and somebody came by and put their phone in front of me and said, "Look." And before I could look away, it was there.
Yeah.
This is shattering.
I stumbled upon it.
Uh-huh.
I stumbled upon it. I regret it. Candidly, I can't bring myself to look at that poor young woman who was butchered in in North Carolina.
Me neither.
This is part of what the world we live in is. God forbid we get used to this. God forbid we get numb to this. And part of what really disturbed, again, going back to that poor young woman in North Carolina, apparently people just kind of sat there.
Yes.
They didn't intervene.
No, you see him in the shot, Father.
They didn't try to help her, and they didn't try to detain the killer. They just kind of looked at, how does that happen? What other things had to go wrong so that if someone is slaughtered 2 feet away from you, you'll just sit there? I don't know how that. Look, I'm not a hero, but oh my God, I want to believe about myself.
Me too.
And if I saw that unfolding, I would do something other than sit there.
I would like to think, yeah.
And I really hope. I don't believe this is a sin because I want everyone to be converted. I hope the people who just sat there lose sleep and weep bitter tears of shame until they come to Jesus and make a good confession and say, I've got to change my life because I don't like the person I obviously am.
And the judge who set him free, I don't know if you heard the story, but
a whole other
thing. She let him go because he signed a piece of paper that said, I will be good.
More than that, right? She kept releasing him to these different mental halfway houses in which she had a financial interest. So she was cashing in. This is not Tales Out of School. This is documented. She was cashing in on this. He was a kind of mixed metaphors, revolving door, money tree. So there needs to be, and this woman who's a judge never went to law school, never passed the bar.
Right. That I did hear. I hadn't heard the other part, but North Carolina is a fantastic spot, isn't it?
I have some very dear friends there. I pray for them earnestly.
Yes.
Let's go back to the beginning of the Gospel of Luke, where St. Joseph and Mary take the baby Jesus into the temple for the first time, and Simeon recognizes and says to her, a sword will pierce your heart, and the thoughts of many will be revealed. TJ, we are witnessing that right now. The thoughts of many are being revealed, and the thoughts of many are really ugly. The people who put together posters, selling T-shirts to say, debate this with the death shot of Charlie, that's really saying something about the state of the souls of people we live with. And then I don't know if you saw his wife, God bless her, spoke for about 15 minutes.
Yes.
What a steel magnolia.
What a steel magnolia. That's a beautiful way of putting it.
Oh my God. In a different age, she would have been a queen.
Yeah.
God bless her.
She was magnificent.
We need to pray for her because, her 3-year-old saying, where's daddy? So look, we are in a time of very great grief. We are in a time where righteous anger has to be cultivated and then harnessed. Use it as fuel. Don't let it steer.
Indeed. Father Robert McTague, let's go over to Roland on line 1. Roland, you got a Charlie Kirk comment. Good morning and welcome, pal. And say hi to Father Robert McTague as well.
Good morning, TJ, and good morning, Father Robert.
Hey there.
Boy, I like what you said was so meaningful, Father. There's a few things I'd like to say.
Please.
And I'll keep it as brief as I can.
You got it.
First of all, we grew up as kids, said the money is the root of all evil. Well, that's not today anymore. Today, Democrats are the root of all evil. They certainly are. And I'll use the example. We can look at when the Speaker of the House asked for a moment of silence. The Democrats booed him.
Yeah.
I mean, this is unheard of.
Yeah.
I mean, Charlie was a preacher of God, peace, tolerance, everything good. What a great kid this guy was. I say kid, not disrespectfully.
No, of course. He's a young guy.
Yeah, and they shot him down in his prime of his life. Now, again, the guy who shot him there's something wrong with that guy. He had to be demonically possessed. And that's why I blame a lot of this, what's going on. This is demonic possession that walks amongst us, or so it seems. And I don't know what your thoughts are on that, Father.
Father, yeah. Well, what about that? Because it seems plain, and to those of us who just kind of taking everything at face value, boy, if ever there was something demonic, it's something like that we witnessed this week.
Well, just as a psychologist, shouldn't make a diagnosis of someone he's never met. We have to be cautious of it. Certainly, evil is at work, and certainly human evil and almost certainly supernatural evil exploited people and that brought about very great harm. Aristotle said a good community is one that makes it easier to be good. I don't think we live in that community. And as a Catholic, when Catholics talk about the common good, they want to give you the impression that the common good means we collect taxes and we distribute it to the people we like after we take 10% off the top for administrative purposes. The common good is arranging social life so that everyone can live and die as saints. That's the common good, but nobody talks about that because there's no money in that. There's no money. And if you're going to talk about living and dying in saints, you got to talk about the Sixth Commandment and sex, and nobody wants to talk about that either. So we just reduce Christian bodies to NGOs who want to get their cut from Uncle Sam because he's the sugar daddy. And that's got to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, TJ, that I can stop whenever I want to. I can control it just a little bit.
Right. Yeah.
You know where that leads, right?
Exactly.
Right.
One is too many and 50 is not enough. Yeah.
Right. And this is where you say, look, I think Christian communities need to get off the dole. They've been addicted to federal funds. So we're playing to Caesar and we're playing to the court jester, which is the popular culture, the media, because we want to be invited to sit at the cool kids table. We want Stephen Colbert to say nice things about us.
Right.
And for Bill Maher not to say something mean about us.
Right.
But what about Christ? What about Christ? So, look, if we don't have the big come to Jesus moment and live in that light, then Hilaire Belloc was right. Christ or chaos, it's the only option. I've been living in chaos my whole life. It's only getting worse. I think we really need to try Christ.
Roland, you made the show better, buddy, with your thoughts and your inputs there. I'm grateful, man. Thanks for staying up late this morning, brother. Thank you. There goes Roland. That was a great contribution. 1-800-848-9222. What we're going to do, I want to take a quick break. And when we come back, I want to hear, Father McTague about, reclaiming men's mission. I think, it would be good, for everybody to hear what exactly, you're talking about where that's concerned. Okay. So stay right there. And we will be back. We are blessed to have Father Robert McTague, a good friend of the show, here on Another Side of Midnight on 77 WABC.
All night long, this is Another Side of Midnight
with TJ McCormack.
77 WABC. This is Another Side of Midnight
with TJ McCormack.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
Good morning there, friends. Hello, welcome back, family. It's another side of midnight with me, TJ, here on 77 WABC. And again, we're just sort of walking around in this thing that we've had to bear this week. And I wanted to bring in Father Robert McTague as a resource for us and a bit of a way to sort of hold up a mirror and sort of just kind of take a little inventory of what we're experiencing right now. And Father, you have not disappointed.
Thank you.
Oh gosh, no, I mean, really. And you're welcome and thank you. So before we let you go, I wanted to touch on this Reclaiming Men's Mission. It's available right now on The Catholic Current, your podcast. Available wherever you get your podcast. Tell us about what people can find if they go on over there to the Catholic Current and listen.
TJ, I've been doing a series of podcasts and brief videos on men's grief, men's anguish. Can Christ heal men?
It's an epidemic, Padre. It's an epidemic. Yeah. We're falling apart. Men are falling apart.
Grief-stricken priests, etc. And I have been struck by the response of the emails that the network has been getting, the comments on YouTube. There are just oceans and oceans of unacknowledged masculine grief. And so men will be healed by reclaiming their mission. So I'm going to quote you something here. This is from a Christmas sermon from a French cardinal, Louis Cardinal PA, from 1871. It could have been written today. Just listen to this. Okay. He asks, is not ours an age of mislived lives of unmanned men? Why? Because Jesus Christ has disappeared. Wherever the people are true Christians, there are men to be found in large numbers, but everywhere and always if Christianity wilts, the men wilt. Look closely. They are no longer men, but shadows of men. Thus, what do you hear on all sides today? The world is dwindling away for lack of men. The nations are perishing for scarcity of men, for the rareness of men. I do believe there are no men where there is no character. There is no character where there are no principles, doctrines, stands taken. There are no stands taken, no doctrines, no principles, where there is no religious faith and consequently no religion of society. Do what you will, only from God will you get men. That was from a Christmas sermon in 1871 from Louis Cardinal PA. It could have been written today.
Oh, yeah.
We have emasculated men. We tell them that their being men is toxic. They make jokes about testosterone poisoning. They abort males in the womb. They contracept them out of existence. They drug them in school. They castrate them in high school. And they send them off to wars that didn't need to be fought. And then they're amazed when airplanes are falling out of the sky and there's potholes.
Right.
And there are gangs because men haven't been properly fathered or nurtured. So we want the benefits of men who can manage and build and defend things. We just don't want to pay the price. Because, look, if we live in a community of real men, TJ, then you and I have to be fathers and brothers.
Yeah.
And women have to be helpmates and companions and complements to real men rather than shrill, secular, empty feminist harpies. That's why there's the war against men.
And there is a war against men, and you know what, man? It's been a multi-layered, multi-tiered, well-timed out, because, they first, they cut us off at the knees. They made us buckle. They instilled us with guilt and fear. And it gets to the point where you just want to be welcomed into the conversation. You just want to be welcomed back, back into the fold. And, wow, it has been such an effective war on men. And now this epidemic of depression and anxiety and addiction and suicide of men, especially, suburban males, young, middle-aged men, despair and agony, and you see it everywhere, and it's quiet. And I can't tell you how many guys, I'm 57, how many guys my age and younger having heart attacks, having, the finding a widowmaker at the last minute and getting a stent. I mean, men are not well; they're ill.
Right. We, like I said, we have been shaming them and destroying them because, look, it takes a commitment to help a boy become a real man and not just a boy who shaves. Like I said, you need companions, you need brothers, and you need fathers. So weak men, lazy men, and bitter, selfish women have worked together to destroy real men. And so what you have are either men who give up and they just, live in the basement, smoke pot, and spend all their money on their OnlyFans account, or they just become enraged and they become destructive. And it's a forbidden topic to talk about the fact that we've been murdering our men, not only physically, but spiritually and psychologically and morally for decades.
Wow.
And unless and until we admit that and then turn to Christ and His Blessed Mother for healing, this cycle is just going to keep on going.
Wow. I urge men and women to go and listen to Reclaiming Men's Mission, and you can find that over at The Catholic Current. It's a great resource for so much of what Father Robert McTeigue is all about. And you can find The Catholic Current on any podcast platform wherever you download your audio for podcast. Father Robert McTeigue, I am so grateful for the time you gave us this morning. And man, oh man, you're brilliant. You're wonderful, and I'm so grateful.
Very kind.
And
very kind.
Yeah, no, and you're brilliant and kind yourself. So thank you, Father, for helping us walk through this. And we will definitely talk again, my friend.
God's peace, Rick. Bye-bye.
God bless. Father Robert McTeigue, very, very cool. Yeah, for sure. And you know what? I am gonna hit up. Let's see. Let's get over to, where is he? Who did I want to? Let's get over to Joaquin's been hanging on forever and a day over there. I'm sorry, Joaquin, you slipped right past me for a moment there. Good morning. Welcome back.
Good morning. Don't be sorry. Please. I hope you gave me enough time, though.
Yes.
Because I had an epiphany. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And here's the thing. I had mentioned on Rita's show that I thought that they might find the shooter dead, because if there was a conspiracy with bigger people behind him, they weren't going to let him live.
Exactly.
Just like in Butler.
Dude, I was thinking the same damn thing.
Okay. And just like Butler and just like Jeffrey Epstein. Okay.
Yes.
But this is not the case. So apparently there was nobody behind him. And this is really opened up my eyes that this is far much more dangerous than even that happening. Okay.
Really?
Because, it is. No, because think about it. This young man now, okay, you have a good family, apparently, at the very least, lives on Christian principles. Very smart young man, okay? And he was co-opted, basically. I can't blame the gaming system or online, but the educational system has turned him into a communist Marxist revolutionary. Look at your history of every single communist revolution. The Nazis, what did they do? Stalin said something about give me the young people, for a year or two, whatever, and I'll convert them. Pol Pot used 14 and 15-year-olds. Okay, all of these college-age people. You look at all this protesting for Palestine, and everything they're talking about, anti-American, and this is all through the educational system. We have lost now, especially in higher education. I would say such a very large percentage of that generation that we are looking at a big problem now.
So you're saying that, okay, let me say, okay, because you were right where I was. At one point I was, and there was almost something like where I was, I'll admit, in a sick, sort of demented way, I was, only because I would have recognized it and known what we were dealing with. I was almost hoping the kid would end up dead, or you know what I mean? Or the kid, whatever, whoever the gunman was, would show up dead or something like that, because at least then we'd know that we were dealing with. And then and I know that sounds stupid, but just in my own simple mind, it was just like there was something that was at least going to be familiar about how frightening it was. Anyway, My point is though, is that unraveled when this kid showed up. And now taking just one more time on your little theory here. So are you saying that this is actually, that this kid is part of, I'm going to put it in a silly way, like an army of these kids?
Yes.
Okay.
All these kids that are college educated, they send them off to college. Other shows have talked about this. They come home, and all of a sudden they're left-wing revolutionaries.
They snapped. Yeah.
And this is what they're doing in this country. This has started already. And I told you to look up Yuri Bezmenov and listen to his interview in 1985. KGB, a propaganda agent. He defected to Canada, and he laid the whole thing out. Right? How they were going to co-opt the our educational system in particular, and our media, and also our entertainment, to influence the culture, to actually demoralize the whole culture.
Yeah.
And what we have going on right now, there's a lot of, where I live, there's a lot of good young people. I mean, when I go to karaoke, man, a bunch of them legends, they break out on USA.
Karaoke.
Okay. But, a lot of the college educated, and they are brainwashed. And they are becoming an army. And you look at how they're being incited by guys like Pritzker. Yep. I mean, you listen to what Newsom is so, oh, God. That guy is so freaking eloquent.
He's eloquent. He's good at what he does, right? It drives you nuts how good he is when he speaks that psycho babble. He's just so effective with it. And hey, and he's got that thing. He's got his own vocal fry that works, We gotta hit these sons of bitches, right? Punch it right in the face. It was jerk. Well, gotta go, man. I got top of the hour here, baby. But thank you for your theory. It's all nuts. It's all crazy. So an army of angry leftist educated college dudes who became disengaged from reality and normalcy after a year or two in college. All right. It's as good a theory as anything else. Almost cursed. All right, gang. We got a bunch of people ready to roll on the phones here. It's 4 a.m. When we come back, we will get to these phones. Pete, Tom, Melvin, and Jim. That was a great folk act in 1964. Pete, Tom, Melvin, and Jim. They played the Village Vanguard. It was great. All right. TJ here. Another side of midnight, 77 WABC. We'll come back.
It's Another Side of Midnight, 77 WABC. It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormick.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
Good morning again, gang. Hello. Welcome back. And thank you for being there. Thank you for being back. I'm really, really grateful. It's 4:07 here, the final hour before we bring you all the way up to the top. And at 5 a.m., hand you over to James Flippin for the 5 a.m. newscast here, as we do every Saturday and Sunday morning. And 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-9222. I guess it's all Charlie Kirk. It's all Charlie Kirk. Tomorrow I'm determined to do some fun stuff. We'll figure that out when we get there. And some just, good uplifting stuff. We're going to talk to Dr. John Tantillo, who's we're going to talk a little bit about Charlie's brand. We're going to talk a little bit about some competing brands in the current political discourse. That'll be interesting. John Tantillo is always the marketing doctor. Always a fun conversation with him. We'll talk to him briefly tomorrow morning. But right now, for this morning, in addition to wrapping up the phones with Pete, Tom, Melvin, and another Pete and Jim and you, 1-800-848-9222. By all means, call in with whatever's on your mind. Be it Charlie Kirk or, the world as it is vis-a-vis Charlie Kirk or not. What you've been seeing, what hurt what caught your eye in the last couple of days, What was it like in your town? My town got riled up today because we found out yesterday that a police officer assigned to one of our schools in our quite predominantly white town, Caucasian town, was spewing massive amounts, copious amounts of white hatred, very racist stuff coming out of this police officer, and also glorifying the violence that took Charlie Kirk, glorifying it, making fun. Is it not kind of like, I mean, we're talking about free speech, right? Is it not quite basically the job description of a police officer to take murder? Like ultimately for a police officer, isn't like at the very, very, very bare basic minimum that they take murder very seriously and don't really kind of make fun of it and don't quite, minimize. And also, when you swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States, you should probably shy away from racist vitriol, right? Just me? Well, anyway. Yeah, so that's where my town was going. So we spent all day yesterday embroiled in that controversy. 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-WABC. And we got a couple of also here in this 4 a.m. hour, as ever, as always, on a Saturday morning, if your life is unmanageable, if you are powerless, as I am, over booze and a number of other things, and I got to keep dropping a dime on myself about these damn cigars. I don't know. Well, I do know. I quit drinking 20 years ago. I quit smoking 19 years ago. And recently I've been able to talk myself into the idea that cigars are, well, hey, they're sophisticated. They're very expensive. So they're it's as one of the brands that I've been toying with says, time well spent. That's Davidoff cigars, because they are so unbelievably expensive that even the wealthy guys that go in and out of the shop on Madison Avenue that I like to go into just because it's fancy, even they have to, justify the dough that they're dropping on these sticks. But they're very good. They're very, very good. They're very good. They're very good. I finally get it. I never used to get cigars. Now I get cigars. I get it. And I get it. And I got it bad. So anyway, if you are like me, if you are an addict, an alcoholic, a drug addict, whatever, gambling, sex, we spoke to a very kind soul who believed himself to be a hoarder, was powerless over hoarding, and his life was unmanageable due to clutter. Give a call, 1-800-848-9222 at any point during the conversation. Feel free, and we'll talk it through. And, whatever. Partially, completely, thoroughly, a little bit. Happy to talk to you about it. And, use a fake name, anonymous. Okay. Anyway, let's go over to Tom, I believe in Manhattan. Tom on line 2. Good morning.
Yeah, TJ.
Yes, sir.
Very great conversation with the priest.
Yeah, interesting stuff, right? Didn't feel like we were just talking to, it wasn't like all religious-ish, it was really social commentaries. Fascinating.
No, but the idea, this conversation came up with a buddy of mine in regards to death penalty.
Yeah.
And executions.
Go ahead.
And I said, I'm for public executions. And
public executions.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I believe it's justified, especially in the case of North Carolina, Charlie Kirk case, any of these cases, the Butler case, if we had got that guy alive.
Mm-hmm.
But what I wanted to touch on was Sky Joaquin was talking about basically what he was trying to pinpoint, I think, was a permeating manifestation of an ideology that's spreading around the globe.
Yes.
And that ideology has infiltrated, number one, the Democrat Party.
Yes.
As you've probably seen poll being taken, prior to Charlie Kirk's death, 48% of Democrats polled justified assassinating their opponents if it caused, if it stopped them from their movement.
Was that 48%?
48%. Now, if that's not concerning, and my position is you brought this police officer up.
Mm-hmm.
Blue areas, blue states are saturated with this ideology. We see it now in New York with the running of Mamdani.
Mm-hmm.
I can guarantee you, half the people that are attending his rallies, Bernie Sanders, AOC, many of those people, if you check their social media, they were glorifying the death of Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
And I'll touch on something else.
Sure.
The Democrat Party is an organized, really, it's a criminal syndicate. People don't realize, people think it's just about politics. I disagree, you disagree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree, I disagree, I agree.
Right.
No, it's deeper than that.
Yeah.
There are straw donors. There are insidious organizations and parties and countries around the world that have infiltrated our politics in this country.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll give you an example.
Sure.
Just recently, and we just dismiss it. People dismiss it and they forget that. For the most part, armchair quarterbacks sitting there throwing the thing at the TV and just calling out stuff like, oh, I'm watching this guy tonight on Fox News, or I'm doing this, and that's it. I'm done for the day. I got my juice.
Right.
And then it goes away.
Mm-hmm.
You look up in Albany, governor's office.
Right.
She had 2 Communist Party spies working in that office.
Yeah, China. Chinese. The Chinese Communist Party. Yes, CCCP. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we hear nothing else about it anymore.
Right, goes away.
Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It goes away. I can tell you, we know the great divide in the nation right now. But what's happening is, if you really lay it down and look at the data, the red states are getting redder.
Yeah.
The people like ourselves with families and stuff, we're kind of stuck. We don't have the financial resources to actually just
pick up and go.
Pick up and go. You have children here, and they seem to not understand.
Right.
So what happens is, you want to get out. You want to save not me. I want to save my children, my grandchildren.
Right.
And from what's coming, it's going. If this guy Mamdani becomes governor, I just
mayor.
said it.
Mayor. If he becomes mayor,
he will.
Yeah.
He will be the next governor of the state.
And you know what? By the way, it's interesting too. So Hochul, I was asking somebody the other day. Said, boy, I wonder if she's going to be able to hold out. I wonder how long she's going to be able to hold out before she feels forced to ultimately endorse Mamdani. And my colleague said, oh, no, she's never going to do it. I said, I don't know. I said, the power, the pressure is mounting between the 2 main, or the 3 who haven't done it yet, here in New York, are Hochul and Jeffries and Schumer. And I think I don't think Schumer gives a damn anymore, because I think he's just done. But I think Hochul, and all of a sudden, if you saw in the paper yesterday, it said that Hochul, just from out of nowhere at the end of the day, yesterday, just at around 5 o'clock or so, at the last sort of news gap of the day, comes out, Hochul says, she's going to really put the screw. She's demanding that he finally apologize to the police for calling them names and stuff. And I'm like, you know what? Here you go. They dropped it in on a Friday. That's going to be her little thing.
That's the news cycle dies.
Right. He's going to do it. Watch. So he's going to do it, and then she'll endorse him. She's already setting, this is my guess. This is her
Ricky
out.
Torres and Ryan already endorsed them.
Right.
Or endorsed them. So she's got pressure from the rest of the party. They're telling her, look, you either stand up or you're out, just like Cuomo.
Right. And she's going to make it like this is her condition. Now she's getting that. So they're setting up the little trigger. He'll make the little apology, whatever. I'm sorry I called you names and said that you guys are racist and evil and whatever. And then she'll go, okay. And then her frozen face will come out and she'll get out there with her dry perma-smiled teeth and she'll lick her lips and she'll get out the words, I endorse you. Anyway, Tom, I got to jump, buddy, but thank you. That was good. That was a good conversation. I appreciate that. 1-800-848-9222. It's 4:19 here on Another Side of Midnight. And let's see. Let's get over to Pete in Staten Island. You met Charlie Kirk, did you there, Pete?
Yeah, I met him at Bernie McGurk's funeral at St. Patrick's Cathedral.
No kidding.
I had my wife. She had a broken hip at the time, just mending, but we made it there. We actually went out to the funeral. You and your wife, you're always mending. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, bud. Yeah, well, we got hit with, I've been hit with cancer. My wife,
I know. God bless you, buddy.
Yeah, we're doing good. We're doing good. I got good results back. Yeah. The cancer's pretty much dormant. It's within me, but it's good. But the thing is, I was coming with the wheelchair.
Yeah.
And Charlie, tall kid, he must have been about, because he died, he was 31.
God bless him. He looked very tall, didn't he? He's got to be tall.
Oh, yeah. Powerful kid. They came, him and the guy was an attorney in Connecticut that I'm in touch with still. He calls me like almost once a week or twice a week. They grabbed the wheelchair and they carried it up the stairs.
Oh, wow.
It was wonderful. And then Rita was by the door. There were no seats. And she made sure that we got to a spot where we were able to.
That is so Rita. That is so Rita to find a seat for you there. Nice. Oh, that's nice, Pete. That's lovely. I'm glad that you had that opportunity to meet Charlie at such a special event. God rest both their souls. 1-800-848-9222. It's Another Side of Midnight. Jim in Upstate. Good morning, Jim. Welcome.
Morning, TJ. I enjoyed your conversation with Father Robert.
Thank you.
He hit on some very important parts.
Yeah.
I think we are like Sodom and Gomorrah to the 10th power today.
Boom.
And if the demonic is so on the mark. There's a great movie that came out not too long ago called Nefarious. I don't know if you've seen it.
No.
Actually, Catholic exorcists were experts in the film. And it shows how the demonic world
I'm writing it down. Nefarious. I'm writing it down, buddy.
It's about a psychiatrist who has to deem a serial killer insane before he's executed, and the serial killer is demonically possessed. And the demon manifests. It's not scary.
Mm-hmm.
It's not scary in a sense of gory like The Exorcist.
Right.
It's how the demonic world works today and how it's infiltrated every aspect of our
I'm
society.
all in. All in.
Look at ChatGPT, right?
Yeah.
Very, very. They let that go on its own, and it was nice in the beginning, and then when it went on its own, it just kept going.
Yeah.
It was blaspheming God and angry when it went on its own. It's so many ways evil can access our world.
Yeah.
People don't realize how real the spiritual world is, and it's just and our kids. You see it yourself. Teenagers, they want to be cool. They're impressionable.
Right.
And same thing when they go to college, they want to be cool and fit in.
Right.
And they get indoctrinated with this ideology from these professors.
Yeah.
They just, it's sad. When you bring up Trump, some of these people, and Trump isn't perfect, but he's doing it for the right reason.
Right.
You know what I mean? He took this job for free.
Yep.
You know what I mean? He had the dream life that all these politicians want. They come in thousandaires and leave millionaires, and the job doesn't pay that much.
Right.
How does that happen?
Right. And you're right. And you mention his name, and people glaze over with an insanity. And I tell you what, and I know I'm not totally not the first, but I'm probably the 400th big mouth out here to say this. Charlie Kirk gets assassinated Wednesday afternoon. And up till now, Not one riot. Not one car burned. I don't know. The only thing I know it's burning is candles. That was profound. That was pretty goddamn profound, wasn't it? I'm going to say it again. The only thing I see burning, candles. Anyway, yeah, but it's true, right? It's true. The other side, and again too, you know, we're saying leftists. Sometimes I do that. I pull my punches too often because I am worried about sitting here in this chair, in this studio where loads of brave people have plied this trade and still do. Find me a more brave human being in the broadcasting industry than Sid. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Brave. Bernard McGurk. Curtis. Mr. Katsimatidis. Brave. And not giving a damn. Never pulled a punch. I still pull them. More in real life. I pull them, because again, I don't want people to say, I don't want to be called a name. And I gotta develop a thicker skin. And and I'm a guy who's a stand-up comic for more than 20 years. Anyway, the point is it's not just hardcore leftists and left wing. It is Democrats. It is Democrats. Because, people don't this guy in Connecticut, Murphy, Chris Murphy, right? Senator. I've been watching a couple of interviews. This guy, he's one of them that absolutely put Charlie Kirk, set him up on a tee for somebody to come along and do what happened. Fascist, gotta fight fire with fire. Go and people like Newsom. Nobody would refer to Gavin Newsom as some sort of intellectual Marxist or some sort of, leftist. No, he's just a run-of-the-mill, obnoxious, empty suit Democrat, like a blue, big D, obnoxious, shut the hell up. You don't know it. You're ruining it. Your state is garbage because you are a glad-handing, vapid, no answers to any one problem Democrat. Tax, spend, boring, nothing interesting. No texture. No texture to this guy at all. So nothing fascinating or about Gavin. He's not a leftist. He's a boring, bland, bad Democrat. And it is, in fact, Democrats that got us to where we are with a dead Charlie Kirk. Democrats. The ones that you live with. The ones that you tolerate at the supermarket. The ones that you roll your eyes. The ones that I roll my eyes and get frustrated with and go, how do you vote for that congressman? Well, it's more than that. They vote for that congressman. They enable the people who walk around and compare Republicans they just don't like. They don't compare them to Nazis. They call them Nazis. They say they are Nazis. They are the ones who have made America the toxic pit that it is. They have Charlie Kirk's blood on their hands. I did it today. Yesterday. I did it Friday. when I did a post on my personal Facebook page talking about craven leftists. And you know what? Shame on me, because I really was talking about just rank and file Democrats. Shame on me. I should have been more brave. I hid behind some intellectual sounding semantics. That is silly. Shame on me. I could have done better. I should have just said what I really meant and stuck with it and been brave. Like Charlie Kirk. Maybe one of these days I'll get around to honoring people like that in my actions and not just in my words. 1-800-848-9222. Got to drop a dime on myself. And there's my sobriety. Ooh, I just did a good job at my sobriety. And again, it's not just because I didn't drink. It's because I was honest about something. All right, that's good. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a break. When we come back, we do have a recovery call coming up. Very, very cool. And I look forward to talking to Joe about that. So stick around. It's Another Side of Midnight with TJ here on 77 WABC. Be right back.
All night long, this is Another Side of Midnight
with TJ McCormack.
77 WABC. This is Another Side of Midnight
with TJ McCormack.
Now to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
One 800-848-9222. It's me, TJ. It's Another Side of Midnight. And that's a song, I believe it's from the musical Carousel, and that's Jerry and the Pacemakers. And it's the funniest thing. I'm married to a girl from Liverpool. My bombshell wife is from Merseyside in England. And I marry into this family, and the Liverpool Football Club, of which I am now a I'm absolutely, completely all in. I'm a lunatic. And, I love Liverpool Football Club. And that's a song they sing before the match. And if you're kind of familiar with it, you'll know. Pretty powerful. But I remember when I first encountered it, I was like, wait. They sing this song before this is their rally song? Then once you get it and once you learn about the town, the city of Liverpool and the people, you just become a blubbering, crying fool every time they do it. And that's me. But anyway, it's also a nice metaphor for what we've been doing the last few days, trying to walk on through not even a metaphorical storm. It's an absolute storm. And, trying to hold our head up. And, same thing with recovery. And, that's the way being sober can be like, for sure. And I'm curious what, Joe in Long Island has to say, about this. Joe, line 1, good morning. Welcome to Another Side of Midnight.
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I woke up like I normally do, put on the radio, and you were talking directly to me. The cigars, the booze, and I'm not in recovery. However, you kind of dropped in the part that you're sober later on, and it shocked me, and I said, I was wondering how you did it, what help you got, and by what means did you use to help yourself?
Well, thank you for asking. It means the world that you happen to roll over and there I am. I'm in AA, and it's been 20 years. And, what it was, I had been basically, I was not much of a drinker in my life. I was not growing up, college, my 20s. Well, no, it wasn't much. I drank. I would have drinks with people, but I didn't really like booze too much. But I was a mess, and I became more and more of a mess as I got into my early 30s. And by that, I mean anxiety and depression and this and that. And, I was in my own head too much. And then, I won't bore you with the details, but for the meat of the conversation, at about maybe 34, I actually discovered gin and tonics, interestingly enough. And the gin and tonic was for me, like, that was it. All of a sudden, it was a drink that I really liked, and I drank a lot of it. And when I started getting a bit too numb, I liked that, and I wanted more numb because, as I know now, as I learned later, I hated myself. I hated my life. I hated being me. And it was all irrational because I had, prior to that, a great life, and I had an amazing career, and I had, and still had, by the grace of God, a great wife and a loving family. So all of it was irrational. But anyway, Joe, my wife, after a few years of really bad alcoholic drinking, my wife finally reached her point. She kicked me out of the house, and I was given an ultimatum of rehab, or that's it. And so I went to rehab, and by the grace of God, I got it right away, or pretty quick. That was 20 years ago, and I go to AA, and I have some dear friends that I talk to, and, and so that's what it is. But I'll tell you this though, Joe, my sobriety is not about not drinking. For me, my sobriety is about my behavior. It's about how I treat my wife and my daughters, and how I treat myself, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, good job. Good job. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
The cigar thing is another major addiction I have. And how did that happen? How did you? And I had the same mindset with the cigars, and I still have. Matter of fact, I just put it out because I feel embarrassed to sit here and talk to you with a cigar hanging out of my mouth. How did you manage that?
I'm managing it right now. I haven't managed that. I tell you what it is I think I'm making an excuse. I think I quit drinking 20 years ago, and on the 1-year anniversary of not drinking, I walked away from smokes. And now here I am 19 years later, and all of a sudden, I was watching something about style and clothing and stuff like that, and this guy was in London looking at suits, and then all of a sudden the conversation, and it's like on YouTube or something, and all of a sudden the conversation turned to fine cigars, and I said, ooh. And next thing you know, I'm looking at, and I'm going and I'm spending $100 on a box of 4 Davidoff cigars, and I'm convincing myself that I love them. And I'm like, what the hell am I doing smoking cigars? But I tell you what, I said it's going to be a once a week indulgence. I've had 3 in 3 days. I'm an addict. That was yesterday. I'm an addict. But, and I got to stop because you know what? Smoking cigars is not good for me.
It isn't, but they taste so good.
They do taste so damn good. Damn it. Damn it, Joe. Come and sit on me. Don't let me buy these stupid cigars. What do you smoke, Joe?
I smoke right now. I'm smoking the cheapest I have, and I hunt sales. I do smoke everything in the cigar lounge, and I built it. I built a friendship and a group of guys that we sit down, and it's all related to cigars, but they're good guys.
Yeah,
and it's kind of social, and I gotta try to break away because I'm 66, and I understand. I can see it's affecting me.
Really? It's then you know what? If it's unmanageable, and if you think that you're being impacted negatively in your family and otherwise, then you know, look, call me back next week. We can talk about it. We'll figure it out. I'll we'll do kind of a thing where I'll stop if you stop, and then of course I'll lie to you and I'll have a cigar, and then you'll lie to me and you'll have a cigar, and I'll think to myself, what the hell am I doing spending $30 on a Davidoff cigar? What am I doing? I'm pretending. You know what I'm doing, Joe? I'm pretending that I'm some fancy pants from London enjoying an expensive cigar.
Understood. I'm a 3/4 cigar guy a day, so limited resources. Yeah, I do all day long hanging a stogie hanging out of my mouth.
Jeez, what are you like a sergeant in a World War II movie? What are you doing?
I am a sergeant. I'm a retired sergeant.
No kidding. That's a good guess, huh? Oh, you're funny. Yeah. Joe, don't be a stranger. Call me back, okay?
Thank you. Love your show.
Thank you. Love you. Thank you very much, Joe. That was fun. Hey, what in life, what were you exposed to? Somebody 3/4 cigar guy. Okay, it was Alan King, the comedian, George Burns, Uncle Milton Berle. Okay, Ernie Kovacs. So you got the comedians with the cigars. George Burns. I think I said George Burns. All right. So you got them. And then you've got every sergeant in a World War II movie, 3/4 cigars a day. You got boxing promoters and boxing managers. Okay. There's the other 3/4. And I think they're all named Joe. So it's perfect. Joe is a living character. That was great. That was really fun. It's 4:41 here, another side of midnight. I'm TJ, and we are talking to let's get over to Joel in New York. Joel, good morning.
Good morning, TJ.
Hi.
Someday this war is going to end.
Which one?
Captain Willard. Quote from Apocalypse Now. I think what I'm speaking to is that's okay.
No, but that's cool. No, it's cool. I wasn't cool enough to get it when you said it, so I'm sorry.
Well, it could be the cigar thing, the war in your mind.
No doubt.
But what I'm really speaking to is the war in the minds for the citizens of the U.S. And like you're saying, the Democrats and the line that they push, which I think is to get insidiously into people's minds and warp them to the point where they lose reason because of the rage that's in their minds, and they make poor decisions like this person who took and assassinated Charlie Kirk. I think if the thing that they don't have is the distinction of evil, they don't have that. And I think what needs to be pointed out to them clearly is that the loss of reason because of rage leaves them into a level of stupidity, and that they will get, and they will understand that. And as far as the man who did this deed, I don't think he should get the death penalty.
Why?
This is what I think should happen. Well, here's what I think.
Mm-hmm.
Death penalty, but under certain circumstances. And this is how I think the death penalty should now be issued throughout the U.S. ongoingly. Those people who commit such heinous crimes, life in prison, without parole, in solitary for the rest of their life. They get 1 hour of daylight, and that's maybe too much. The rest of it, they stay in prison to eat bologna sandwiches in their sole room that has a light bulb, and that is it. No books, no music, no nothing to entertain them, just to sit. And then, at their request, if they so choose, they can opt out and have the state deliver their death for them. That's what they've earned, the bleak existence by taking someone's life in a heinous way. That is what they deserve. And they can live if they want to call that living.
Yeah,
otherwise they can opt out.
Live in a bleak midwinter. Wow, that's heavy, dude. And I would imagine a lot of people have entertained those. I know I have, the whole idea of, like really make them suffer and make it a deterrent. I wonder if a deterrent even applies to these people. But yeah, go ahead.
Well, the other part of the equation too is that it takes out the aspect of killing by the state. It is really just an assistant of suicide at that point.
Almost take the left at their own word and embrace their whole notion of assisted suicide. Okay, all right, okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, that's it. That's the whole shebang as far as I'm concerned about how it should be administered. And it's unfortunate what happened, but I think I also see this too. With Mandamian crowds and people of that vein, if unfortunately they do take the mayoralship, if he does take the mayoralship of New York, I predict the rest of the country, those states that are all purple, will go bright red at that point, because the common citizenry of those states are going to look to it and say, I do not want to exist on that level.
Yeah, there's a lot of people holding out hope that there's a silver lining kind of like that. Thank you, Joel. That was a really interesting phone call, man. I say this a lot. Don't be a stranger. Definitely do that again sometime. That was really interesting. All right, it's 4:45, gang. It's another side of midnight, and we're going to take our quarter of the hour break, and we'll come back and wrap this up and hand things over to James Flippin for the 5 a.m. newscast. And we shall return. 1-800-848-9222.
It's another side of midnight. 77 WABC. It's another side of midnight.
Political humorist T.J. McCormick.
Now to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's T.J. McCormack.
Erica Kirk speaking so bravely. And boy, I'll tell you, anybody who saw her address to the world, how profound was his empty chair? How profound was that? Oh, my Lord. The composure of that woman. I tell you, man, women have just got an extra spine and extra, something else. Yeah. And, all right. So anyway, and it's something to watch that with the women in my life. I watched that with my wife and my 16-year-old, my 13-year-old. But Millie and my wife, we watched it, the three of us, and it's interesting to see how they perceived her. All right, gang, let's just plow right through here and try to hit, all four of our phones here. Let's get over to, boy, it's almost like a dead heat. I think that's right. Something was reset. I'm learning this thing every week. All right, let's get over to Dr. Anthony real fast. Dr. Anthony, a prevention comment, sir. Dr. Anthony.
Good morning, TJ. How are you feeling today?
I'm well. Thank you very much. How are you, Doc?
Very good.
Good.
Listen, first of all, I want you to be very careful because there's a lot of nuts out there, and anything that you say on the radio or television, they take it the wrong way. They twist it and turn it to fit their woke ideology. So you be careful what you say on the radio as well, because I'll go into a state of mourning if anything happens to you.
Oh, you're very kind. Thank you. And now I'm scared. But no, you're right. No, I am taking more note of where I go and what I do. Thank you, Doc. That's very kind. I know where that was coming from. You mean that. He's a middle school principal, Dr. Anthony, so I know he cares about people. Let's get over to, Pete in Jersey. Pete.
Hi, TJ.
Hi, buddy.
I'll make a statement and then I'll get to a more worthwhile point. Okay. My statement is that because I have not had a television for numerous decades, I never heard of Charles Kirk whatsoever, but I've heard of him now. And my immediate impulse was that this is another one of God's great offers of his mercy and kindness to every person who wants to understand before they go to their personal judgment. They can understand, and those who don't want to, that's their selection. And then my more enduring thought.
Okay.
Many centuries ago, there was a Catholic priest, a doctor of the church, very famous too, and he was an exorcist of big devils. And they asked him two questions.
Okay.
They said, what is the most important of all of the human virtues? What's the most important one?
Sure. What did he say?
He said the most important one is humbleness of humility, because it's the only virtue that the demon is not able to change around into some other thing over some time.
Hey, you know what? Go ahead, real quick. Go ahead.
Then they said, is the devils and demons, are they afraid of anything? He said, yes. They have been forced to tell me by God that the thing they fear more than any other thing is the Virgin Mother of Jesus and her prayer.
Listen, tomorrow morning, if you'd like, Pete, we'll see if people chime in. I have an archived conversation that I've never aired with an exorcist from Washington, D.C. Maybe tomorrow night we'll have a little fun. We'll break things up from tonight and all this sad and worthwhile conversation about Charlie Kirk. I mean, what are we going to do? Not? A lot to confront here, friends. But maybe tomorrow night we can actually have a little bit of fun, some levity, talking about exorcism. Maybe we'll do that. At least it'll be a palate cleanser. Be some intellectual sherbet. Remember you go to weddings back in the day and they'd serve sherbet halfway through, and as a kid you go, ice cream now? Yeah. Anyway, it's 4:54 coming up. Almost time for James Flippin. He's cracking his knuckles. He's ready to go. Let's get over to Eddie in Rockland. Eddie, nice and quick. I want to make sure we say hi to you. Good morning. Welcome to Another Side. Eddie.
TJ, can you hear me?
Yes, there
TJ.
you are. Eddie, there you are. There you are. Okay, yeah.
Sorry, two things.
Yes, sir.
First of all, 9/11 was one of the accelerants of my drinking because I was freaking angry.
Ooh.
Very angry.
Okay. Oh, Eddie, you're out on your walk. I know. Okay, yes, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
And these people that talk to Charlie Kirk always look so angry.
Yes.
Very angry.
Yeah.
You know what they're missing? They're missing the Holy Spirit.
Indeed.
And that's what the devil will be pissed off at.
Wow.
If you can get that Holy Spirit into your life, things are going to change for you.
Yeah.
And it changed my life dramatically.
It did.
And I did like that comment on humility as well.
Yeah. I tell you, look, brother, I mean, that's what you and I do. Eddie is a sober dude, and he's out there on his walk. I tell you what, that's something else, man. It's another sign. I always like to say when I'm driving home, on these early mornings. When I go past windows that are lit up, I said, 5 will get you 10. That's one of us. Usually the early risers are the sober, because we spent enough time sleeping till noon. We tend to get up early and get out the door.
All right. Love you, brother.
Love you too, man. I love hearing that breathing, that heavy breathing. And not because I get my kicks from it. No, I dig that. You can tell he's out there with the reflector and probably a flashlight, and he's walking. You know what he's doing? He's sober. As far as he's concerned, he's walking for his life. And I'm not going to telling you right now, I've said this before. What you just heard in his heavy breathing, and the fact that he's out there and paying attention and looking at everything through the prism of recovery, it's because he's desperate. Eddie is desperate to be sober. I got a lump in my throat. Sometimes that emotion comes from out of nowhere. Sometimes the reality of everything that you have, all your blessings, everything that you're grateful for, just sort of comes in a rush. And I just had that weird sort of moment of clarity. In like a split second, I kind of just was reminded of everything that most things that I'm grateful for. That's why when you're confronted with somebody who's kind of struggling and they're resisting the idea of getting sober or acknowledging or, or if they are ready to go, but they're a little scared, or they need that one last push to go and get sober, to go and actually grateful list. That's like that's just one of those things you just know. If they're ready to go and they write that grateful list and they realize this is everything that they have to live for, right? Yeah. But what you hear in Eddie when he's out there huffing and puffing at 4:57 in the morning, because he's desperate to not drink again. He's as desperate to stay sober as he was to ever get a drink. That's how you stay sober. Mike in South Carolina, once again, you're going to close out the show there, buddy boy. You got like 60, 70 seconds. Mike Huge.
Hey. Finishing out your show.
Go, baby.
You were talking about cigars before.
Yeah.
My uncles, when I was a kid, and my father, they'd smoke these Italian De Nobilis,
Yeah.
And try playing bocce with a bunch of Italians. It's not a quiet affair.
No, I'm sure.
Not at all.
Oh, you're funny.
I got to tell you, I was telling the man working the phones.
Yeah,
I knew
Bill.
5 people. 5 people who died 9/11, and I volunteered 3 weeks after that day. That's a day I'll never forget. The people I met, and you keep doing, TJ. Giving your advice to people that need help, and I'll leave you with this.
Yeah.
I always try to do it.
Yeah.
Thank God you told that guy who belongs in a straitjacket, don't ever call my show again.
Hey, he's listening to us. He hasn't. Hey, thank you, buddy. I love you, Mike. And all you guys, I am definitely trying to stay on the right side of things. I'm trying to keep my side of the street clean. And I'm grateful to Mr. Katz. I'm grateful to Chad Lopez, everybody here at 77 WABC. I'm still in a state of gratitude for this opportunity to sit here and talk into these unbelievably legendary microphones. Wow. It's nuts. And I'm so grateful to talk to you guys. It's wonderful to have this family here every Saturday and Sunday morning from 2 to 5 a.m. on another side of midnight. Be back tomorrow morning on a Sunday, and hopefully maybe we'll find a way to have a little bit of fun, have some laughs. And so I look forward to that. Thank you so much for listening. Stick around for James Flippin and the 5 a.m. newscast. I will see you right here tomorrow morning at 2 a.m. Until then, as always, I wish you all the luck in the world.
All night long, this is Another Side of Midnight
with TJ McCormack.
77 WABC.